Let's do this.
Here we go.
In the booth. In the booth with Adam Erik. In the booth with.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Braa.
And I'm Adam Harrington.
And you're in the booth with Adam and Eric.
Number 5.
That's right, number 5. And this is a big episode for us.
Huge.
It took us a little while to get it together because there was scheduling and getting down to actually interview Dave.
Right, and it's been a busy summer for both of us.
It has been busy. We'll tell you more if we can. But Dave Fennoy, this is a big one. And
He's a hero to us.
Yeah, kind of a personal hero, so we're real happy.
I want to be Dave when I grow up.
We went right into his studio with him, and I got to tell you, the guy is just too nice. We'll get to it. But contributors, we're going to have Owen and Rex, and our new contributor. This is big.
You're not going to want to miss this.
It's going to be with Julian Kwasneski, who is the big voice director, Game of the Year winning Walking Dead game. Julian's fantastic, and he's going to have an insight from the director's chair, which is exactly what we call it, in the director's chair with Julian Kwasneski. So that's coming up. Stay tuned. First, we want to talk about our sponsors. I'm sure you've noticed it, this awesome Draven shirt in the little sort of chibi, what is that little thing? Anyway, it's Meeboo store, and they were kind enough to send over this shirt for me, and I'd like to repay the favor by having you guys go buy stuff. Tell them that we sent you. Awesome. And hey, it's not just League of Legends. They have DC, Marvel, film, TV, just tons of stuff, and they're these cute little characters.
There you go. I've got a little shout out from my girl Hannah at Hat-Fantastic. Actually going to talk a little bit more about her later in the show.
A shout out to John Armstrong and gamevoices.co.uk.
Right, Game Voices. If you are a working voice actor or an aspiring voice actor, I highly suggest you go over to his site. All kinds of cool stuff, and it's almost like the Facebook of video game voice actors. Set up a profile. Even if you haven't booked any jobs yet, it's a good place to start. Great guy, John Armstrong. Go check it out.
Absolutely. He even has some auditions right through World Gaming Executives. Absolutely. All right, so in video game news, let's talk about a couple things. First of all, we want to talk about League of Legends is in Worlds, so congratulations to the teams. We're rooting for all of you.
Absolutely. TSM and our boy Dyrus still in the thick of things as we record this.
And we'll mention a little bit about Dyrus in a second. So
I'm also amazed that they sold out the Staples Center in less than an hour, man. That shows you just how huge this thing is.
Pretty amazing. We also have some other video game news. Adam?
Well, yeah, as I said, it's been a busy summer for both of us. On my end, I was lucky enough to book the title role in the follow-up to The Walking Dead, also directed by our boy J.K. Bigby Wolf for Wolf Among Us. Can't really say much more than it should be released very soon, and that would be the first episode. And I'll talk to you guys more about it as the season progresses. A lot of fun. This is amazing. You're not going to want to miss it.
And, you know, hey, I don't know if there'll be a delay in the next episode, but GTA 5 just came out.
Oh, man.
And,
I bought it the night it came out.
It is pretty insane. If that's the kind of thing you go for, it is definitely delivering. Shout out to Sissy Jones, a friend of ours
Our girl Sissy is in Grand Theft Auto 5. Next time you're down there, you know, say a good word for me and Eric and the rest of our crew up here. We can get in on that too, you know.
That's right. All right, so that's video game news. Let's go straight to the inbox.
What do you got for me, Eric?
In the inbox is Brazil221. What if I don't live in California? Do I have a chance at making it? You know, it's so expensive to move and all that. So what do we have for advice?
Well, you know, 5-6 years ago, I would have told you, well, you really want to find a way to get out here because really, you know, either here or the bigger markets, New York or Chicago, because that's really the only game in town, so to speak. But, you know, the game has changed so much in the last 5 years.
It has changed a lot, actually.
Home studios have been, you know, become, you know, the status quo for voiceover. If you don't have a home studio, you really can't do this. And the ability to build a home studio and deliver quality recordings is getting easier and easier.
And there's pay-to-play sites where you can actually be competing against some of the people that you consider big-time pros. You'll compete with them right there on those sites where you are auditioning for the same stuff they are.
That's right. So, eventually, and especially if you're really serious about it, and we've talked a little bit about this in episode 3 about getting started in voiceover, you start to book a few gigs and you start to feel like, you know what, I think I'm ready to go out there and really compete against the big boys. Then you start thinking about a move to the major markets. But my recommendation, A, is to take your classes, get your demos done first, and then B, you know, instead of jumping full bore into it, if you're in a place like Des Moines, Iowa, set up your own home studio. And
look, even in Des Moines, there's probably a voiceover coach and classes you can take.
Yeah, no offense to Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. I didn't mean that
I'm sure
way.
they're
I apologize.
fine people.
I just mean that in virtually any market where it's a known city, there is someone there that does voiceover, because they probably do it at least for like local cable ads, let alone... You know, they have lots of people that hire voices for things in your area.
Yeah, and there's more and more and more and more opportunities for voiceover as media expands and expands into so many different genres. So right now is a good time. If you've decided you want to get into voiceover, right now is the time to do it.
Indeed. OMG, it's B-Man 12. Don't worry, Owen.
Are you saying, oh my God, it's him, or that's his name?
No, his name is OMG, it's B-Man 12. Don't worry, Owen, my Vanny needs cream too.
Nice. OMG, that's nice. Thanks for sharing.
Oh my God, it's B-Man 12.
What else you got?
Nikki's backable. She says the Manmo skin of Adam voicing Timo would be amazing. I think the little tooth fairy needs to get in there.
I agree. I think that it's time for Timo to get some new lines and a couple of cojones.
I will scout ahead.
Hey, now.
All right, next is 66 Caesar 66, and he's been thinking about getting into VO. He's hesitant because he has a little bit of an accent. He's a non-native English speaker.
Interesting. Well, you know, first of all, Eric and I get a lot of auditions where they actually specifically ask for native speakers of certain countries, correct? Mm-hmm. Nice mug, by the way. The lion's share of the voiceover work is, here in this country anyways, is, you know, a Native American accent. However, I recently made friends with a gentleman named Jesse Condi, who is the guy who did a good number of the League of Legends male characters, the Spanish overdub. And this guy is making a great living overdubbing not just video games, but movies. He's the Joker in the Batman movies. And so there's those opportunities as well. So, but again, I'll go back to demos and coaching. That's where you should start and then move from there. But I think, again, there's plenty of opportunities in voiceover, and there's just going to be more and more.
All right, so to round out the inbox, who won last time?
That would be our boy Dyrus, who we just mentioned. He got the most upvotes with "You guys are awesome." See, that's all it takes, folks. And of course, he was ecstatic to get the Draven shirt signed by Eric and by me. He said, "Why not?" So we signed it. Now, normally we also do this Skype conversation with the winner. Clearly, Dyrus is a little tied up right now, but hopefully we'll get to a conversation with him sooner or later, because I do have a ton of questions for him.
In the meantime, we've got a guy named Sky, who was our second most upvoted.
Second runner-up was Sky Williams, our buddy, amazingly talented, incredibly funny.
That makes him the first runner-up, actually.
All right, whatever. Sky was nice enough to agree to sit down and have a talk with us, because I got a ton of questions for him as well. I think you guys will find this educational and entertaining.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at it.
I have to work really hard to get kind of the same, to get the privileges that I get. So, like, for example, to be able to go backstage or to be able to go in the VIP lounge, I have to, like, black my way into... like getting free stuff and like.
When was the eureka moment when you said, "Holy shit"?
Holy shit, I'm famous.
Yeah.
MLG easily. There were like 48 people who just swarmed me immediately, and I could not move. I had a line that was not out the door. Okay, the biggest line for autographs was Dyrus, of course, and I was like, oh man, I cannot believe I have this many people that want my autograph. And then all I did was like troll. I just trolled pros the entire time. Like I was Scar was my homie, but he was like getting ready for his game, so he'd try to like sneak off to backstage, and I was be like, "Is that Scara?" mid lane of Dignitas, and then everybody would just swarm him. And I just find that to be the funniest shit I've ever done.
If Riot came at you and said, we'd like you to voice a champ, would you do it?
Depends on if the champion is a black woman, then yes. The most frightening question that I've ever been asked is, when is your next video coming out?
We've experienced it too, yeah.
Yeah, we're experiencing it right now.
No!
You
I
got
don't watch female porn.
She has,
No,
she has a Twitch stream.
Have you seen my bear tippers?
Future plans, aspirations, dreams. What ideally would you like to be doing in the next 5-10 years?
I want to write, direct, and act in a sitcom, and I want it to be on YouTube, and I want at least 1,000 people to watch it. If 1,000 people watch it, then I don't care. You guys are the dumbest bears. Did you even press record?
All right.
Awesome guy. Incredible skyrocketing career ahead of him. Good for you, Sky. And thanks for sitting down and talking to us.
So if this is your first episode, this show is fan-driven. So it's you getting your comments, questions, or topics upvoted, and that's what we address in the following episode.
That's right. That's how it works.
It's pretty simple. So if it's just a topic, well, then we'll try to talk about that topic. If it's a question, we'll try to answer that question. Either way, get it on there and get it upvoted, and that's what we will address in the following episode.
And if you've got a question for one of our contributors, Owen, JK, or Rex, please send them through as well.
And when you do that, you potentially win things. What is our prize we're giving away this time, Adam?
Well, for the most upvoted comment, question, or topic on this episode, you guys are going to love this. The winner gets a Shaco hat signed by me and Eric.
Well, assuming you want my signature on it, but yeah.
That's right. Our girl Hannah was kind enough to donate one Shaco hat for the winner of this episode's upvoting contest. And trust me, you guys want this thing. It's beautiful, keep your head warm, and you can scare the hell out of little old ladies up and down your block.
And you'll look cool playing League, that's for sure.
Hey, now.
And if you want to be a sponsor of an episode, just let us know how you want to do that. Whether it's handing off an awesome t-shirt. I love black t-shirts. Well, I mean, Adam will accept them too. Or if you want to help us give away a prize, let us know. Be a sponsor. All right, everybody. Get your questions, comments, and topics upvoted, and we will get it in the next episode.
Absolutely.
That's right. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to the real meat of it all. Dave Fennoy.
The meat.
Now, you know that Dave was Lee Everett in the Walking Dead game. It was a huge success. His voice acting was pointed out as really spectacular.
Yeah, just amazing. And of course, you guys know him from Dota 2. He was six heroes.
7 characters.
Seven,
now,
yeah. I get. Well, one guy has 2 heads. I guess you count that as 7.
There you go.
But, you know, Fallout New Vegas, StarCraft. I mean, on and on and on.
Yeah, World of Warcraft. He's actually got something big coming up right now. So
The voice of Hulu.
That's right. You hear him in front of every episode of anything you do. If you saw 4.5, I gave my best shot at it. The following presentation is brought to you by In the Booth. Sorry, Dave. So here he is, man, myth, legend, Dave Fennoy.
There's only one thing you can do. You know that. You have to shoot me, honey.
Lee, no.
Hey, everybody. As promised, we are sitting down with Dave Fennoy, a legend. We've already given you the rundown. Let's get right into it. We had some fan questions. We had stuff that we wanted to ask you.
Well, first off, we've got Saphira144, and I assume it's a she, asks Dave, what was your favorite role and why?
Wow. Well, I have to say right now that my favorite role was playing Lee Everett in the Walking Dead game. But there are some other roles that I've played that are still very close to my heart. Gabriel Tosh, Worlds of StarCraft, Vol'jin, Worlds of Warcraft, which I'm still being, General Pong Krell in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and a bunch of.
It's kind of an endless list,
Yeah,
really.
on and on and on.
When I got the job, it was, I'm an actor, so whenever you get a job, you're like, hey, I got a job, woohoo! And they flew me up to Fairfax, where you fly into Oakland, and then take a Well, they took they had a limo for me.
Yeah, folks, don't get used to that, because when Eric and I go into Fairfax, there's no limo waiting for us.
Well, the first thing I noticed looking at the script was it was real dialogue. In many games, what you're looking at, you have a series of greeting lines, a series of attacking lines, a series of taunting lines, a series of I've been hurt lines, and then all your yells and screams and death sounds.
Impact sounds.
Impact sounds. And this wasn't that. This was actual dialogue, and who you were talking to and what your relationship with that person was dictated how those lines came out. And that was something kind of new in the gaming world. And I knew it was going to be good. I had no idea that it was going to have the impact on the gaming industry that it's had.
I watched Greg Miller up at noon.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Greg and the IGN staff.
Let's get into this, folks.
You know, he proposed that you play Ezekiel the King that is in the comic. And when he said it, I went, wow.
Yeah, ding.
It was right in my face, and I didn't even think about it myself.
Well, you know, it's funny because it had kind of been mentioned before. A few fans had said, well, you know, you look like Ezekiel, and you got the dreadlocks, so forth and so on. And then I get this email from Greg, and he goes, watch me pitch you to Robert Kirkman.
Nice work, Greg.
Thumbs up. And now... Robert Kirkman.
I think they would be crazy.
But you need a
not
beard,
to.
so we can start doing the beard growing meter for you as well.
Oh, yeah.
And we can see where that gets to, because
Well,
I'm
you know,
sure that this will come up. It's got to. They've got to call you.
I
They've
put in
just
a
got
call to Alec Baldwin, and he can teach me.
Oh,
that'd be
right.
I've seen some of your on-camera work. I've seen you on Tosh.0, but I've also seen some of the independent projects you did. Clearly, you've got the chops. You've got the look. My theory is that Kirkman wrote this character for you already. The guy's got white dreads, he's a strong presence, and obviously when you read the comic, what kind of voice came out of this guy's mouth?
Oh, absolutely.
A deep,
I honestly thought of your voice when I was reading it, but I
voice.
never put it together that they would have him on the show.
The instant you showed me this picture.
What say you, Robert?
All right, so you guys tell us in the comment section what you think.
Tell Robert Kirkman.
Dave Fennoy as Ezekiel, otherwise known as the King, right?
Yes.
It's a natural fit, and that way we'll have a very super famous friend that we can bug and show up in the middle of the night and ask for loans. Let's make this happen, guys. Kudos to Greg for really starting the ball rolling.
Here's one to Greg Miller.
Yes.
Absolutely. As I live and breathe.
You do. You have a section in Secrets of Voiceover Success, the book by Joan Baker, and your section you talk about the rule number 14 was.
Well, you have to know who you are and who you're talking to, what your relationship with that person is. I think a lot of people that pick up a piece of copy never think about those kinds of things. But how you talk to your mom is different than how you talk to your boss, is different than how you talk to the person you love, is different than how you talk to a child or your grandma or some stranger on the street or somebody that you feel is above you or below you, different than how you speak to your buddy. So you need to really define what the relationship is with whoever it is you're communicating with. And oftentimes it's a matter of going, oh, well, who am I talking to? Who is the prototypical person in the demographic that this message is trying to reach? And if you know somebody like that, put that face in front of you and talk to that face. Sit in a room with just some friends. Turn on the recorder, forget about it, and just let your conversation carry on. Go back and listen to what you sound like. Bring that to your reads. Bring the real you to you. All too often, people pick up a piece of paper, and once they've picked up that piece of paper, now they're getting into some kind of crazy. And it's okay to be able to do voices, but even there, bring some reality. Bring your real heart, your real mind to that voice, to that character.
One thing that I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's even more of a challenge for someone who's been broadcasting to the masses to make that transition.
It is. It's one of the things I worked on quite a bit in transitioning from radio into voiceover. And one of the things you kind of have to develop for yourself if you've come out of radio is the realization that you were playing a character in radio. Because when you're in radio and you're doing this guy,
You even had a character name, Billy Ocean.
Billy David Ocean, 107.7 KSOL.
That's broadcasting to the masses, folks.
And that's broadcasting to the masses. The majority of people who work are not former disc jockeys, they're actors. So you want to be an actor.
Well, especially like in The Walking Dead. I mean, when you're doing those scenes with Clem, it certainly isn't, "Hello, Clementine."
Well, that's going to go to something I kind of wanted to do a little tip and trick on is proximity. It's how close you are to the mic, and in my world, it has two meanings. The other is how far away is my character from the person they're talking to.
Oh yeah.
Some games, a lot of games, now they have one range you're doing it at. They're just like...
And I still do those games. There's still those games that once you have decided on the voice of this character and the level of anger or whatever, that it's a one-trick pony right there all the time.
Well,
and
Dota 2, Dota 2, you're not farther away or closer or intimate.
Right,
right. It's all the same.
And those lines could be said to anybody in the game. I'm up against you, I'm going to kill you, and it doesn't matter who you are, as opposed to, this is my ex-wife, and there's a special kind of hate, or this is...
I like how you mix ex-wife and I'm going to kill you in the same sentence.
Well... And you've seen this in the detective shows where somebody's been just brutally butchered, and the detective, well, this was somebody that really had a lot of hate for this person. Right. There are little clues in that there, as opposed to somebody who puts a bullet in your head from 1,000 yards away.
Yeah.
Great point.
There is.
Dave, seriously though, we want to thank you for allowing us into your home and into your studio. It's really an honor and a privilege, but also a huge learning experience for Erik and I. We do want to be like you when we grow up. And
careful what you wish for.
He's gone above and beyond to be cool and welcoming and kind of guide and mentor us. And it means a lot to both of us. So.
Well,
it really does.
My pleasure.
Salud.
Salud.
Skål.
Skål.
So much fun. And thanks again, Dave, for allowing us heathens, us Vikings, into your home for the weekend.
The Visigoths of voice came into the studio there at Mr. Fennoy's house, and I got to say, we had a blast.
Those were just the highlights of the interview. We're going to put the entire chat together and put it on Erik's channel. There's going to be a link, and go check it out. Nothing but great advice, great anecdotes, just... The guy is awesome. I want to be Dave when I grow up.
Yeah, I think we all do, pretty much. Well, it is time to hear from some of our contributors. And first up is Owen with Owen's Corner. Owen, what do you got for us?
Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I get dealt you.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Owen's Corner, a.k.a. my bedroom. Today we are going to talk about accents. But again, I'm new to this stuff, and so my editing can be a little wacky. So hopefully it'll go smooth and there'll be no, weirdness or anything like that. Anyway, main thing with accents, as with anything, is you've got to try and practice. It can take a very long time. 12 years ago, couldn't do that at all. Now, one of the key things to remember when you're trying to find an accent for a character is how much of a caricature it should be. Games like The Walking Dead specifically said on their audition sheet, we are not looking for exaggerated accents. It must be believable, it must be real. And true to their audition, they cast only people with believable accents, something that could pass. And by that same token, I want to take a perfect example. Twisted Fate. When I first saw that picture, I saw a very cool looking character who had the hat tilted, kind of laid back. And so I went for that kind of calm, believable, 2 jokers in the deck and I get dealt you. When it could have gone many different ways.
It's just the luck of the draw. It's my lucky day.
Oh, hey, y'all, it's Twisted Fate. Gonna throw a card at you. Not much you can do about it because I'm pretty fast. Here it comes. Ace for your face. I'm kidding. It's a little greeting card. Wonder Woman on the front. Found it at this kooky little store around the corner. It's a great place, but I do not care for the woman at the front desk. So it could have gone a number of directions. I chose to head towards the more subtle, believable version, but not every cartoon-ish character calls for that. They want over the top. So that's probably the first thing I'd say is figure out what that character is and what game are you auditioning for. Now, as far as learning accents, that can be a little tricky. One of the tricks I used is I would tune my radio to the BBC and I would sit there and repeat what they said with the accent.
And China takes the first step towards building its own space station.
That being said, the British accent has the widest variety of different varietals of that accent. It's all over the place. Same with the US Southern American accent. Everybody thinks they can do a Southern accent, but there are, again, so many different versions of that accent. A good example is look at the first season of True Blood.
Welcome to another episode of Bill Compton's pointlessly over intense monologues. Today's subject: Suki.
That is the widest variety of people's idea of what a Southern accent is, all of whom are supposed to be from the same town. Surprisingly, the one that gets the accent the best, in my opinion, Jason Stackhouse, an Aussie actor. Go on YouTube, look for someone who is genuinely Australian, genuinely British, genuinely German. Look for those accents and really listen and repeat and keep practicing. Make a CD, put it in your car, drill it into your head. Señor Beyoncé. That's right, Señor Beyoncé. Thank you for visiting Owen's Corner. Bye. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Until then, charmed, I'm sure. Hopefully I'll see you guys at Dragon Con this year.
All right, Owen, thank you very much. Accents, that is definitely valuable, and I'm sure to 66 Caesar 66, that will be just as valuable as well.
You see how it all comes around? And shout out to Beyoncé again.
Yes, Miss Beyoncé. It brings tears to my eyes. What a performance. The jumping down and the meow and walking out was wonderful.
He's stealing the show.
Stealing the show.
So, now, we
Without
move on.
further ado.
Yeah, our new contributor, again, Julian Kwasneski has directed the voice actors in some of your favorite Telltale games, not to mention others. He even has actually voiced a few of the characters in some of these games.
He has done some VO himself.
But he's got some great tips, some great advice. We're going to be doing this throughout the show. He'll be contributing.
Now, we caught Julian in the midst of all making this. He had a vacation going through the middle of this, so he had a little bit of fun with that.
Right.
So I think you'll see that soon. Julian?
Well, just be careful and use your best judgment. We're building a good community here. We want to keep it that way.
Wisdom and enlightenment, you know, the meaning of life. Can anybody help me? Well, welcome, sir.
Whoa.
To the first church in the Gooey
Sorry.
Desert.
Thanks, guys. I'm Julian Kwasneski, and you are in the director's chair. What does that even mean? Well, we're going to try to find out. Free of commercial interruption, product placement, you name it. Over the next few episodes, I am going to try to give you a little insight into what it's like on my side of the glass, and hopefully it'll help you with your experience on your side. So without further delay, I thought I would focus this first episode on etiquette, what I like to call playing the game. Playing the game has nothing to do with playing the video game. Playing the game has to do with, things like silencing your phone when you're recording. Lesson number 1. But I think a change of scenery might be in order, so just 1 second here. Playing the game. Number 1. Be neat with your auditions. What you want to do when you're auditioning is keep those file names nice and neat. Find out if there's a naming convention. Get it right. Don't misspell the character name because you might end up in another area that you don't want to be in. One other thing about auditioning. No one said you needed a really fancy rig. Just use your iPhone. Go into the closet or a nice, dead room and record it that way. At the end of the day, we're not hiring you for your recording skills. We're hiring you for your voice. Number 2, and this really should be obvious. Be on time. If you don't know where the studio is, find out and get there early so you're not holding things up. A lot of times sessions are booked back to back, and if you're late by 5 minutes, you could throw off the whole day. Not a good way to make a first impression. Can I get a drink? Step number 3. Be prepared. And I'm not talking about obvious things like being on time and knowing where the studio is. I'm talking about the project. Be prepared when you go in. Who are you meeting with? What project are you working on? Is there any information you can get in advance that can help you with your performance? A lot of times the developers won't give you the script.
but it doesn't hurt to ask. If they won't give you the script, maybe they'll give you a story synopsis. Anything to help you be more prepared when you show up, knowing the character, knowing whatever it is that you need to know for your session to make it more believable, more natural.
In some cases, developers will even call you in beforehand and go over the story. It's an ideal situation. It doesn't always happen. And logistically, it's hard, but what you'll find is that most people doing what I'm doing are always more than happy to help get you the information that you want. So it's just a matter of doing the work and asking the questions.
Rule number 4. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet?
Be quiet. Be quiet. While it's important to have fun, at the end of the day, we are there to do a job, and performance is the ultimate priority. When you record hundreds of lines in a day, that's a lot of editing.
If you talk a lot between takes, I may not hate you, but trust me, someone's hating you. Step 5. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Over the years, I've made friends with a lot of the people I work with. It's one of the things I love about this business is it's very personal. It allows for a lot of creative freedom, a lot of different personalities. So when I say be yourself, it really is to try to relax. When you're nervous, you talk faster, you make mistakes, and you gotta try to really focus on the material. And if you're prepared, it shouldn't be that difficult. It should definitely be easier than if you're not prepared.
So, I hope this was helpful and mostly non-offensive. At the end of the day, it's a large business, vast business. There's a lot of ways to do things. There's really no right or wrong way. But I hope I've been helpful in some way and you took something away from this. Thanks again, Adam and Erik. I'm Julian Kwasneski, and you were in the director's chair.
Awesome. Again, even Erik and I... Yeah, you know, I got into this thinking that we'd have tips for the aspiring voice actor, but clearly there are some things that we are going to learn from JK as well. Who knows? Maybe that was a little veiled message to me and Erik to shut the hell up.
Yes, I do go on a little bit sometimes in sessions. That's for sure.
Yes, you do. All right. Thanks, JK. We're going to look forward to this every episode. Awesome.
All right, a different perspective indeed.
Yep.
Well, how about perspectives? Fan art. Let's see some fan art. We've got an amazing lineup of stuff this time.
Each episode, it gets more and more incredible. I mean, some of this stuff is just amazing, guys. Please keep sending it in.
Here it is.
We love it.
Make it go.
Wow. I mean,
that is wow.
And again, guys, if you want us to feature your fan art, every submission is featured on the show. Just send it to either Erik's or my Facebook fan page, link below. Anybody who submits gets featured.
That's right. Well, listen, it's kind of last but not least, and it's Rex.
Our prodigal son has returned.
Rex has been super busy with his stream on his channel, so go check it out. We'll have a link for sure. And this time he's going to talk a little bit about making you sound like Thresh when you want to use some effects.
Here you go.
Rex does stuff.
Greetings, viewers of In the Booth. We're doing something a little different today, as you might have guessed by the slightly different audio in my little bumper card there. Didn't really have any questions from the last In the Booth except for where the hell is Rex, and the answer to that was everywhere. If you have any more questions for me after this episode, though, feel free to leave them in the comments, because I will be around to answer them this time. But today I decided to do a tutorial that people have been asking me for a really long time, and I only recently figured out how to do properly, or at least somewhat properly, and that's how to sound like Thresh. So, for starters, the voice is pretty low and raspy. Think Evil Bastard whenever you record it.
I tend to go for something a little like this.
So let's do one of Thresh's lines here as a reference.
Me. Mad. Quite likely.
Now, I'm going to do my noise removal to the track first before anything else here. And in case you guys can't read up there, the program's Audacity. I probably should have mentioned that sooner, but you guys will figure it out. It'll be fine. I also slap a compressor on everything because it's a bad habit and it makes stuff sound better if you have a crappy mic, which isn't really why you should be using it, but I abuse it. So you've got your track here all ready to slap effects onto. Highlight it and hit Control-D to duplicate it. Select just your second track. Go up to Effects, and then G-Verb, which I abuse almost as much as Compressor. So I've already got this set up for the Thresh Echo Ghostly effect, and I'll run through it. It's room size 40, reverb time 1, damping 0.9, input bandwidth to 0.75, which is the default. And then this, normally I have you guys jack this all the way to the right or left for reverb, because that basically takes all of the original audio out of it and just leaves the reverb. But for this track we want to leave it at -10, so it's still got quite a bit of the original voice to it. This is to cut down on an extra step. Early reflection level, we do want that all the way off though, we don't want any of that. And then the tail level, we want -15, that's going to be most of the effect right there. So apply that, and then bad habits again, slap the compressor on there. Before you do anything else with it though, go to change pitch, drop it by about 15%, apply that. Lower the gain on both tracks to about -8. If it looks like that, you might not need to go quite so low if you didn't slap compressors all over it like I do. Tracks, mix and render, you'll have this. You're not quite done yet though. Duplicate that. And this is a trick you've seen me do before. We're going to select that track, the second one only, go to effects and then reverse. And then slap that G-Verb filter on there again. And then reverse it back to normal. Now, you'll notice I already have a little space here. You're going to need at least a second or somewhere around this much of emptiness. So there's room for the preverb effect, I like to call it, to do its thing. That's the ghostly build up to him speaking you can hear if you listen to his actual voice. So after you've got that, tracks, mix and render again, you should have that. If it clips, lower the gain before you do it. And then just for bad measure, slap one more compressor on it. It should come out sounding like this.
Me mad. Quite likely.
So that's about as close as I'm ever going to get to duplicating Thresh, and I hope it helps you guys out. If it's still a little bit too high afterwards, like if your voice isn't quite deep enough, you can slap some more pitch correction on it, like maybe 5%.
Me mad. Quite likely.
Which for me takes a little bit too low, but it might work better for you guys. Even if you're not using it for Thresh, it's a pretty good generic effect for a spooky ghosty voice. It's actually not too far off from the Nocturne tutorial I did, but not quite. I actually just used this effect for a game I'm working on called War for the Overworld, which should have a demo at Gamescom, I think. But anyway, as with pretty much all of my recent stuff, this was filmed live in front of a studio audience of all of about 4 people because it's 6 in the morning on my stream, which there will be a link to that maybe in the description. Please add them. But as for me, that is it for today. Good luck and have fun, guys.
Awesome, Rex.
Thanks, Rex.
Good to have you back, brother.
As if this content never ends, well, it finally does. Get your questions, comments, topics upvoted, and you'll hear it in the next episode. Thanks, everybody. I'm Erik Braa.
And I'm Adam Harrington.
You're in the booth. Yeah.
In the booth with. In the booth with. In the booth. In the booth with. In the booth with Adam and Erik. In the booth with. In the booth with. In the booth with Adam and Erik.
In the fucking booth. Woo, woo.
so sexy.
Okay. You ever seen a grown man naked?
You ever wonder why they call it a cockpit?
So the obvious question is, how many times have you done those Hulu spots in your drawers?
Well, I take my work very seriously, so...
Let's talk about our company. Oh, God damn it.
Let's talk about our They need cream.
I'm Julian Kwasneski, and you were in the director's chair. Congratulations. I tried to not do as many edits as
I hate video games.
Owen Thomas. She doesn't really hate video games. She plays Bejeweled all the time. Step 4. Rule 4. Rule 4. So now you've got the gig. So now you've got the gig. So now you've got the gig.
Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Here comes the wind. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared.
Sorry, Owen. Had to do it.